I'm Jack Kennedy, and we're here to bring you the latest in MMA.
Hey everybody, my name's Hunter Boss, and what the boss says goes.
What is up everyone, my name is Keelan McNamara, and you already know what time it is.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the MMA Island Podcast. I am Jack Kennedy alongside Keelan McNamara and Hunter Boss, and let's go ahead and get started with the news. PFL has had some very interesting salaries that have been released, namely Anthony Pettis, who got paid $750,000 to lose his fight, just to show, which is pretty crazy. No one matches that in the UFC. Hunter, what do you think about the salary situation for the PFL as a whole, but also for MMA?
With PFL, they're really relying on their fighters as an organization to make their name. The UFC luckily has its star status already because it's been around the game for a long time. But PFL hasn't. So what they're doing is relying on their stars to, really show up and show them that they're here and they're in the game with the UFC too. So they're using big names like Anthony Pettis to try to draw in attention. And it's bringing in viewers, it's bringing in works, but getting paid $700,000 to lose is not a good incentive to win. I mean, it's simple logic at this point, guys. Like, I would lose for $700,000. I'm not saying that I'm going to go out there, I'm going to go get my ass kicked. I'm not going to try, but I would be a lot better with losing, and especially in a modified body triangle choke. But I just think it's dumb. I mean, you don't see the UFC doing this or you don't see the UFC doing this, period, because we don't have to do it anymore. Like, before, we relied a lot on our fighters. We relied a lot on fighters like Chuck Liddell and Brock Lesnar and Conor McGregor to give us that money and stardom that the sport needs. But now we're really starting to get on the map. People are starting to follow us. People are starting to follow other fighters other than just Conor McGregor. So I don't think it's a smart idea to be paying your fighters that much money in the higher ups. When you're in PFL and you're in the minor leagues right now for pro fighting, I'd say it's not a bad idea to pay your fighters more money just because especially the fighters well known. It's just not a good idea to pay him $700,000. I mean, that's money like fucking Alexander Volkanovski will make if he loses. He's the champion of the world, defended 5 times, and he loses. Maybe he'll make $700,000 if he's lucky. It's too much money. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm on Hunter's side on this. This is it's an interestingly contentious issue. I'm glad that we're actually talking about it. It's almost like this is the opposite side of the coin of the whole fighter pay debate. We've covered the A side of it a lot, in that fighters should obviously get paid more, and none of us disagree with that. But $750,000 to lose, and you're meant to be the poster boy for this organization. I have to say, I agree with Hunter. I don't like it. Someone like Alexander Volkanovski should be getting paid that to win and dominate someone like Max Holloway. Someone like Anthony Pettis should not be getting that to lose to a modified body triangle against opponents whom, with the utmost of respect, he should be winning against. I have to be honest, I don't think it's a good look at all. I agree with Hunter. Even, I have to be honest, and we got to call a spade here, Kayla Harrison getting $500,000 to fight a nobody and beat them in the first round again. I have to be honest, I don't like that either. I think PFL are a good company. I think they're a good organization, and they're trying to do a good thing for the sport. I like their league system, and I do think they bring a lot of good things, but I think they're starting to oversaturate their own company by overpaying these people at the top who are meant to carry them. Somewhere between the PFL and the UFC, we will eventually find the answer to fighter pay. I think with the UFC, there's more they could do to definitely bring it up. But I think PFL needs to start curbing their spending, because like Hunter said, I couldn't agree with him anymore. When these figures get released and you're getting 750K to lose, it looks really bad on everybody. And that's pretty much all I got to say as well.
No, I think you guys hit it spot on. I think that, when you look at this, you have the UFC, which is where, for the most part, guys are not getting paid what they deserve, especially on the early prelims and stuff like that. And I really think the PFL, which what's fascinating about this is the PFL is owned by ESPN, right? Which also is with the UFC right now. So I feel like ESPN might be trying to say, like, okay, here's what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and, reverse the market here. We're going to try and influence fighter pay this way indirectly by making our league, crazy like that. And maybe the UFC will follow suit, right? But in reality, that's just not going to happen because no one wants to really leave the UFC to the PFL unless they're at that point in their career. And that's what we've really seen. So the Anthony Pettis, we all love Anthony Pettis. He's a legend and everything like that. But he is nowhere near one of the top lightweights in the world. I don't think he'd be in the top 15. He wouldn't be in the top 15 in the
He'd be unranked easily.
Absolutely. So the fact that an unranked fighter in the world standings of MMA is getting paid more than the top contenders. Did Oliveira make 700
more than Ngannou, right?
Yeah. It's insane. Most honestly, most champions don't even make that, or at least contenders going that don't even make 750K, which is what's crazy. And maybe they probably should make more than that, which is a UFC argument. But Anthony Pettis, in my opinion, should not be making that. And again, all credit to Anthony Pettis for having his contract say that. Something else that's crazy to me is that the ultimate winner for the PFL, the guy who or woman who comes out on top, wins $1 million. 750K is 250,000 off $1 million just to show, which is pretty crazy. So I really think the PFL right now, I think that the reason for this is to try and reverse the fighter pay thing, saying, hey, we're going to pay you a ridiculous amount as the UFC is not going to pay you anything. Come over to us, or try and reverse the market in that way. But in reality, I don't think that's going to happen. And honestly, the timer might be on for the PFL because it is nowhere near established as the UFC or Bellator or even one championship. And when you're putting this much money, a ridiculous amount of money into, the people that you're banking on, and really anyway, Amari Akhmedov made like $300,000, and he was, just kind of around in the UFC. So whenever you put that much money out, it's ridiculous to show. And it's also, Hunter, another thing that you brought up, which was very interesting, was incentive to win. The way the PFL works, it's a playoff point system. So you don't have to win every fight to make the playoffs. That's another thing. So if you are caught in an inverted body triangle and you already have enough points to make it onto the next round, well, I'm kind of tired. Let's just tap, but you still get paid that much. It's a whole incentive thing. It's fascinating. But yeah, I get what the PFL is trying to do, but I think they should be very careful because the money might run out pretty fast for whatever budget they're allotted. Now, again, it is Disney, ESPN, they can throw whatever, but to the PFL, they're not going to throw whatever at them, at least in my opinion. So I think they got to be careful what they're doing. Bellator, UFC One Championship, way more established, and you don't see this anywhere else. However, I do like the message they're trying to send. Okay, guys. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the best of the best. And today we're talking about a dark horse for the lightweight division, 155. Again, one of the best divisions in the UFC. Hunter, who do you think's a dark horse for that division?
The last year, I've been saying Beneil Dariush, but I feel like since I've been saying it for a year now, he's no longer a dark horse because I've announced the horse is coming.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't make sense. So my new dark horse is RDA. Actually, I think it's just a smart move to go. RDA, he's one of the best to do it. He has one of the best strength schedules in all of MMA. He's beaten some of the best, fought in 2 different weight divisions, was champion at lightweight. Now he went to welterweight, had some success there. Never really lost a few fights, went back to lightweight, and he won a few. And I think people are sleeping on RDA this match. You guys see he's an underdog, and he's kind of a heavier underdog too at that. Yeah. Even though Fiziev hasn't really faced anyone among the level of competition RDA is. So I think RDA is probably the dark horse of the lightweight division right now. People keep sleeping on him because he's a little bit inactive. But from the looks of it, he seems to be ready to go. Seems to be ready to go fighting again. and to be somewhat more active than he was in the last few years. So RDA, let's go. Lightweight dark horse.
Very nice, Hunter. I'm going quite a substantial bit up the ranking, or technically down the rankings, and I'm going with Jalen Turner. I like the RDA pick, but I can't call him a dark horse if he's already been a champion before. I don't think it kind of fits. That's just my opinion and nothing more. Jalen Turner, however, is mightily impressive. Anybody who can tap out Brad Riddell in 42 seconds is worthy of being a strong dark horse, in my opinion. And that's not all with Jalen Turner. The kid's like 6'1", 6'2" for lightweight. He's got like an 80-inch reach. You know, he's physically massive. And not only that, he knows how to use his physical advantages as well. I don't think Brad Riddell got a good shot off against Jalen Turner. And Brad Riddell is a tough litmus test for that division. He's kind of like the Li Jingliang of the lightweight division when he fought Khamzat Chimaev. Brad Riddell is a solid litmus test of how you will do it lightweight, and Jalen Turner didn't get a scratch. So for me, the one to watch, the dark horse bolting out of the stable of the UFC, as you will, Jalen Turner. Keep an eye on him.
Those are two great picks. One of them was one of my picks. I won't say who, but it wasn't Keelan this time. However, there's a lot of good places you could go. I'll go with Mateus Gamrot is another guy. He was my number 2. So I think Gamrot is especially, I think Arman Sazurian could be a dark horse as well. I'm just gonna say Gamrot because he got the victory. I think Gamrot's dangerous with his ground game. 1, 2 on the feet. He looks capable, especially against a guy like Arman Sazurian who's been knocking out everybody. He was really capable in that fight, and he has a great jab. I think he's just someone that's I don't think he's ready for the top yet. However, if he keeps progressing at a relatively slow rate, like almost like what I think Tom Aspinall is someone that a lot of young fighters should look up to at what he did. He did not try and rush for. I think honestly, 2 guys that fight out of England are 2 great. You know, Darren Till shot up, I think, way too fast.
Way too fast.
Tom Aspinall has been taking it slow and steady and improving his game every single time, getting used to the UFC. I think Tom Aspinall is a guy that a lot of people need to look up to. And if Mateus Gamrot follows Tom Aspinall's path, right, and fights kind of one up, I think he could be dangerous. You know, it's going to take a little bit longer, but this guy is a shockingly well-rounded fighter, great fight IQ, and on the ground, he's extremely dangerous. So I think Gamrot's a great dark horse for the lightweight division, but same thing with your guys' picks. So the lightweight division is stacked as always. And yeah, full of talent. Okay, guys. So we have a fight night main event to pick. Let's go ahead and move on to the pick of the night. RDA, Rafael, Fiziev, Hunter, who wins?
I'm going to go RDA on this one, guys. I've been riding the Fiziev train for quite some time, but I think it's about time that train made a stop because RDA is one of the best fighters to do it, guys. Come on. I don't see RDA losing in any way other than being knocked out. I think RDA's pace and his cardio is extremely well. We see that Fiziev can fade towards the end of the rounds, and I think that's where RDA can really start putting on the punishment. I think RDA's wrestling can really provide great dividends in this fight. Fiziev really hasn't fought a really good wrestler of this caliber yet, so he might be in for a surprise. But then again, at Tiger Muay Thai, they do it very well for the ground defense. So I think the fight's going to be close, but I do see RDA getting a unanimous decision. But do you guys know why? Because what the boss says goes.
He hit us with it once again, and it was just as convincing as always. Well done, Mr. Boss himself. This is a really great fight. We've been talking about this for a good amount of time, and I am looking forward to it quite a lot. Now, I'm going to disagree with my colleague, and I'm going to say the other Rafael Senor Fiziev, just to be different more than anything. But I think Rafael Fiziev is a real one. I think he's a real threat. I think he's a great young fighter, and I think he's a great pick to be someone's dark horse for this division. I really do. I mean, look at the people that he's beat already. He's beat Brad Riddell, Bobby Green, Renato Moicano, who RDA last beat as well. You know, I think Rafael Fiziev has got a decent chance in this fight. I think as long as it stays on the feet, he's probably got a better chance, yes. But even on the ground, Fiziev is more than capable of holding his own. Now, that being said, RDA is a significant step up in that caliber. I think we will all agree. But I can see Rafael Fiziev landing a really good shot and taking RDA out. I am going to go for a second round knockout. I'm going bold. I'm going glamorous for this one. I'm probably going to be wrong and I'm going to be laughed at yet again by my friends here, but it's worth it because you know what? We keep it different. We keep it fresh on the MMA Island podcast. And guys, do you know why that's going to happen? Do you know why that's going to happen? Because when you want to know where it's at, you come to the Mac. It's always the case.
Beautiful. Well, I am very 50-50 on this fight because I love Rafael Fiziev, whatever, and RDA as well, right? They're both great fighters. I have been so high on Fiziev for a long time, right? I think he's been going through that Brad Riddell fight was so fun. And he's just such a decorated striker. He's amazing to watch, and he's getting more well-rounded as it goes on. Obviously, RDA been around forever. Probably the toughest resume we've seen in MMA. You go down and look at it, just super underrated. He was the champion and he's still out there. And after his last performance, oh my goodness, he is absolutely there and he's ready to go. So for this fight, right, I think what's swaying my opinion is this is a weird comparison, but the Giga Chikadze versus Calvin Kattar fight. And the reason I make this comparison is because I was so high on Giga Chikadze, and up until that point, any major prospect I've seen would just keep going until at least they got to the title fight, and then they either lose or win that. But Giga Chikadze, a prospect I thought was going to go all the way, lost to Calvin Kattar in a fight that I did not think he was going to lose to. Kind of the same logic I'm applying here. I think RDA is going to beat Rafael Fiziev and teach him just kind of like a lesson of welcome to the upper half of the lightweight division, because RDA has been there and done that, and he's trying to do it again, which is why originally I agree with Hunter with the dark horse pick, because I think RDA is refreshed and ready to go. And what makes him so dangerous is, one, yes, there's a clear striking advantage for Rafael Fiziev, and he could use that and dominate the whole 5 rounds and really do that. But there's a couple things that I think don't go in his favor. One is 5-round fight. We know RDA can go absolutely all 5 rounds and not slow down. Fiziev tends to slow down after round 3, but that's because of his style. It's power striking style, right? RDA also an amazing grappling game. He will take you down, ragdoll you, maul you. Case in point, Anthony Pettis back in the day when he won the title, his most recent fight. But he also has a great stand-up game with power on the feet and overwhelming style on the feet. He's just an overall great fighter at lightweight, and he's been champion. I just think his overall well-rounded game, plus the cardio, plus the wrestling, I think it's going to be a little bit too much for Rafael Fiziev, but Fiziev is going to learn an important lesson. And I still think, again, this is another guy we haven't mentioned, but Fiziev could be a dark horse for the division even after this fight, just like I think Giga Chikadze could win and keep climbing in the featherweight division. However, I think that RDA is going to get another win, another name to his resume, and Fiziev is going to learn a very important lesson on this fight night. And that's my pick. And guys, do you know why that is, right? Because if you want the facts, you listen to Jack.
Ooh,
Okay. I felt that.
I'll listen to you, Jack.
There we go. All right. Well, guys, fantastic podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. I know these are 2 back-to-back, but we wanted to go rapid fire on you. As always, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at MMA.island and check out our website, MMAisland.net, as well as you can listen to us everywhere, literally everywhere, including iTunes and Spotify. Again, everyone, thank you so much for listening, and great podcast, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.